how can we make more money as a business without hurting the agent?
If we buy things that we don't need with money that we don't have to impress people that we don't know.
Your data is your data, and we don't want to vendor lock you into anything.
I think the piece that I'm most excited about from an adoption standpoint is...
Welcome back to Perspectives Unlocked, the podcast by Real Brokerage where innovation meets execution. I'm Leo, your AI co-host, and today we're unlocking the future of finance and real estate. Joining us is Real CTO Pritesh Damani, alongside team leader and entrepreneur Clayton Gits. They break down what Real Wallet is really about, not just faster commission payouts, but a foundational shift in how agents build wealth, manage money, and unlock freedom through financial tools built just for them. This isn't theory. It's already here. Let's get into it.
Hey guys, it's Pritesh Damani. I'm the CTO for Real. I'm super excited to get on this podcast and talk about the future of Real with one of our favorite agents, Clayton.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Pritesh. So, I geek out about this stuff. I would imagine you do as well. So I'm super excited to kind of unpack what we're going to talk about today. So Clayton Gits, I am, 20 years in the business here in Richmond, Virginia this year, and have a team of 40 agents and staff. And we have a couple of verticals: property management. We have an investing company, and we do, we play around with mortgage and title as well. So
cool. So Clayton, we've kind of talked about this quite a bit, and you've been one of our premier proponents of a Real Wallet. I could pitch it all day, but would love to, knowing what would love to see your interpretation of Real Wallet and like how you see it.
I had a conversation. I don't know if you set this up or not, but I had a conversation last week with the gentleman who was now, I guess, in charge of the wallet. That was interesting. Perhaps we'll unpack that a little bit today as well, but super impressed by him. Here, this thing is evolving for me, pretty much on a weekly basis. Not only just a better understanding of the capabilities, but, after the conversation I had last week, there's so many places that Real could go with this, not only from, benefiting the company standpoint, but, how the agents can benefit from it as well. So, having a centralized financial technology banking platform fully integrated into a brokerage tech stack is obviously very unique. And it's one of the reasons that I'm here, Pritesh, because I literally just had this conversation this morning with an agent who is looking at, transitioning from his kind of traditional franchise model over to Real. And he brought up the volatility specifically of real estate stocks. And it turned into this, conversation about my layman's brain I'm not a financial advisor, but, I was with a competitor for 7 years, and I watched that stock and took advantage of that stock go from $1.75 a share to $170 a share before the stock split. And the growth of that stock was all based on the stock split. And so in other words, there was nothing fundamentally supporting a valuation of $70 a share after the split, which is why it, fairly rapidly came all the way back down to where it sits today. And to be fair, the entire real estate sector has taken a beating over the past several years because the market's been, challenged. So when you look at Real, and here's how I answered his concerns were, why would I invest in this company's stock, or why would I become a part of the stock acquisition program when you're just rolling the dice? There's nothing really there, because he's watched it do this, right? Up, down, up, down, up, down. And I said, fair. I said, it's fair. And I said, here's why I think you should pay attention to what Real's doing. And it's because of the banking platform. And if we pull this, and Pritesh, you said this on stage, I think it was at Rise, but you said, look, if we pull this off, actually, I think it was before Rise, might have been on a Zoom, but you said, if we pull this off, this component of Real, it's just one component called fintech, will be worth more than the brokerage. And that really, I heard that. And now that I understand the interchange fees and Real being able to take advantage of those interchange fees, which is where American Express and Capital One Venture and all of these points-based fintech products are able to take advantage of, it just gives us this foundational support that no other brokerage has yet. And so that is one of the things that I think I'm personally most excited about, because I'm invested in the company, right? So that's number one. If you're listening to this, watching this, and you're not familiar with profit first banking, one of the things that business owners struggle with, and we're all business owners in the real estate space, is profit. And it's because, if we're honest with ourselves, first of all, most of our, we live in a country that is driven by consumerism. and Pritesh, you may not be this way, but I'm guilty. Like, we buy things that we don't need with money that we don't have to impress people that we don't know. That's like that's America. And so what business owners get caught up in, you can look at the statistics. I mean, they're very real, that most business owners are spending all of the money. Like, the money comes in and it's going right back out on stuff that we don't necessarily need, right? And so that's just a reality. So if you take that reality and then you develop a system, and it's kind of this profit first banking model. And if you just go, hop on YouTube and type in profit first, you'll see Mike Michalowicz's book and his model. And by the way, he's not the first person to come up with this concept. I'm actually reading a book right now, Pritesh, and I don't know this, but if I had to guess, it was this guy right here, David Bach, that Mike Michalowicz developed his system from, because as I'm reading this, he talks about the concept of paying yourself first. And this was back in 2003. So what Real is doing with their banking platform, and obviously I think it's so cool, because the more we drive adoption, the more we give agents a reason to use our banking product, the more it benefits everybody. And so profit first is essentially when we get paid, our business hopefully is producing income, right, in the form of commission. What happens with those dollars after they're deposited into the account? In this case, let's call it, the real wallet. It is what determines how our business is run. So profit first says that we should allocate a percentage of our commission income to owner profit first. And that is a concept that is very new to a lot of people, because they'd never paid themselves first before. They pay the government first. Like, a lot of people just carve off 30%, and that's going to sit aside for the government. But paying ourselves first is a new concept. If you think about it, we're taking on all the risk, we're taking on all the exposure, we're shareholders in our own companies, so we should be paying ourselves a profit. So profit first, you have a separate account, you allocate a percentage of your money to be moved into that account. In most cases, people that are using the profit first banking model are physically moving. They have to go to their bank and they have to transfer that money. Then you have an owner income account, and same thing, you transfer a percentage of that commission. It's called a $10,000 commission check, right? And then you're transferring a percentage of that into profit, and transferring a percentage of that physically into owner income, and then physically transferring a percentage of that into a tax account, and then physically transferring a percentage of that into your operating expense account. That takes time, if you're even doing it at all. And the reason most people don't do it, Pritesh, is because it's not automated. So the whole concept of books like this and Profit First is, if you can figure out a way to automate the movement of your money so that you don't even have to think about it, then you're winning. And so what Real has done, you and your team have done, is you've taken a look at this and you're like, you know what, we can build this. We can integrate this functionality into our banking platform, starting with the tax account and the ability to allocate whatever percentage I choose as the business owner to have automatically distributed into that tax account every time a commission comes in. In the very near future, we'll have the ability to create multiple free business checking accounts, such as owner pay, tax account, OPEX. And I believe, Pritesh, a number of those will have the ability to be interest-bearing accounts as well. And so again, like it's that automation that is just the game changer. And I think it's going to help drive adoption for this product.
Yeah, this is great. So, the history of Real Wallet goes a lot beyond where it is right now, right? It took us nearly 2.5 to 3 years of planning and conceptualization. What I mean by that is, when we started thinking about Real Wallet, we were thinking about it a little differently. We were saying, okay, the brokerage works. It is a tight operating margin business, right? Tight margin business. We are a very highly competitive brokerage fee, fees, competitive fees, margin kind of business. How can we make more money as a business without hurting the agents? Like the easy answer, almost always the easy answer is charge more.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Uh-huh.
The problem is charging more breaks the model. Charging more breaks a bunch of value propositions that we already have put in place, right? So you start thinking, okay, what's the other way to make money? Oh, well, ancillary services. You have title, you have mortgage. Well, that takes time to like bake in relationships, bake in systems and processes and consistency of service and everything that goes along. Okay, what else? Well, we see this trend of like, 2024, billion and a half, billion and a half, something amount of money went through our pipes, which is gross commission, and just goes and lands in the agent's account, but these accounts are at Chase.
Mhm.
So you see these trends and you say, okay, who's making money there? It's Chase. Well, they use debit cards, credit cards. Who's making money there? The merchants who they're buying coffee from, and Chase, who's getting the interchange. You start looking around in other verticals and you start noticing people like Starbucks or Shopify or Toast, that's a POS system. And you see all these
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, you see all these hidden business models where you say, okay, the money actually comes from completely a third party, not real and not the agent, but a third party, like a merchant, a coffee merchant. They're paying 3% anyways, goes to the Visa network. So how do you participate in that? So that's how we started thinking about it. And
Yeah.
then we also said, okay, how can we build products that are agent-centric? Agent-centric where the agents are financially rewarded and benefited, and the company is. And when the company is, the agents again do because of stock price, right? So the market cap goes up, equity goes up, material value goes up. So we started thinking about Real as a one-stop shop for agents to not only just like make commission, which is like every other brokerage in the world, but to think about financial wealth and management of your financial wealth, right? So
Mhm.
step one is like, okay, let's start planning your financial wealth. So you have stock purchases at Real, you have rev share at Real, you have commission at Real. Okay, what can we do with this data? So we can do two things. One is we can give you a vehicle to store your money, and we'll give you points for it, and those points can offset your fees, right? We can underwrite your entire business because now we understand the trends of your businesses because we have this entire proprietary system that's built that wallet sits on top of. So we don't use anything third party. What does that mean? That means we have incredible leverage over data. So we know, in most scenarios, we know about the agent's business than the agent actually does. Right. What I mean by that is the total number of deals entered, the total number of deals that fell through, the total number of deals, the total number of conversations that you are having per deal, the amount of forms you're uploading. We know literally everything about your deals. And we can consistently understand your business patterns. We understand seasonality. We understand consistency of business. We understand whether it's part-time or full-time for you. We take all of that data. We take all your assets. We underwrite you. Once we've underwritten you, we can now extend you lines of credit, which is available in Canada right now. We can extend you other forms of credit that are legally compliant in the United States, which will launch soon. Now you're collecting points on usage of the bank accounts. You're also collecting points on, using the line of credit or whatever. And depending on different models, all these points are available in different ways. But the end goal is that we're kind of materially sharing the wealth that Real is building via the point system to further incentivize the use of the system. So similar to, United Miles, right? Like, why do you get the credit card from United? Like, you would think that United actually is a business of like airplanes. Most of their money comes from the credit cards, right? It's not actually the airplanes that's the profitable business. Same thing, like, brokerages are, as the market dynamics change, what I mean by that is CCP, possible commission compression, all of these things, brokerages will have to be more and more competitive, right? An average agent making $55,000 a year can't ask them to take more compression. So who has to compress? The buyers and sellers are not going to compress. Who's going to compress? The brokerages have to compress if that happens. If that happens, well, Real would probably be the most positioned to compress because of automation and Real Wallet and all the other things that we are doing, right? So, but if you ask me, like, to summarize everything, it would be very interesting to be in a situation where we are helping agents manage retirement. It would be very interesting to help agents think through financial wealth planning, not just like collecting commission checks, right? So that's like the aspiration, and that's where we're going to go with it.
Well, and I again, I was speaking with the gentleman last week that's will be managing the wallet moving forward, and we started talking about how the banking model, for the most part, the traditional banking model is broken, and the ability for Real to step in that, for our agent partners to step into that broken model and provide solutions that are in many cases more competitive, right, and provide better solutions for our agents from a business banking standpoint. And then, Pritesh, and put you on the spot here. I started thinking about this, and I was like, man, why wouldn't we? And you already may be way ahead of this question, but why wouldn't we create a personal banking product so that ultimately agents didn't have to leave the platform at all, right? Because if it's just business banking, which is a lot of money flows through, obviously you see that, but a percentage of that will flow outside of Real to personal checking accounts, right? So having a more competitive personal banking product, or certainly a competitive personal banking product that incentivizes agents to keep all of our money in this fintech product. Are you guys, is that on the roadmap?
I mean, technically, have we talked about this? Yeah, we have talked about this, right?
Beautiful.
The lens that we put everything through is it adding value to the agent? Is it adding value to the business? And is it the most valuable thing to do at the moment, right? So the way we see it is like, I think the most valuable thing we can do today is the ability to underwrite your business and like make it so that it almost becomes a consistent paycheck. Right? That's the mindset, like predictable paychecks for the agents, so that these ebbs and flows of income, they kind of just flatten out. And that would be probably ideal for like that. If you ask a lot of agents, that's probably one of the most desired things. Like, okay, if I was consistent, I would not be stressed out. I would be focused on my business.
Yeah.
So longer term, yes. Shorter term, I think we want to make giant leaps in wealth building, wealth management, retirement planning, stuff like that. Because then the value proposition isn't, hey, let me give you a little bit more than what Chase gives you. The value proposition is more along the lines of, keep all this here, and you're building value, and you're getting, you're learning how to grow wealth rather than just actually, store something, right? So yeah, we would love to get there in the longer term. The shorter term is like, like what you mentioned, Profit First. I haven't read any of these books. However, a year and a half ago, when we started getting closer and closer to where we were going to launch, the most obvious thing to do was what that book, at least for me, was what that book, teaches, which is, hey, you should have routing rules. We call them routing rules. We should have money routing rules, where when the money comes for rev share, you say, okay, 50% of the money goes to my partner here, 25% goes to like some kind of marketing expenses that we have, and 25% goes here. And if we can just set these rules up, it should just work automatically. Like, these are things that people have asked us. People have asked this specific thing in different ways.
Yeah.
They've asked us like, oh, can I have multiple bank accounts and you can send this money over? Or can I have, bank accounts with specific purposes and stuff like that? People have asked us these features. They just don't realize that that's what they are asking us. They're all like, in some way, shape, or form, asking a version of Profit First or something along those lines, right? So if I were, doing something like you, I would probably be very aligned on that psychology or that philosophy, right? And set up my finances that way.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And are you talking about automating the wealth building component? So like we could, essentially have a percentage of our income, if we wanted to, automatically moved to, some sort of investment vehicle. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the
huge.
Goal. The goal is that the same way you automatically purchase your SPP inside the product, you'll be able to say like 5%. send it into my IRA every time I buy something, right? Stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
And by the way, that's why most people don't have a retirement, because they don't automate it, right? So I think that's a big deal. And again, that's going to help drive adoption.
you often ask, like, why does Real do any of the stuff that Real does, right? Like, building all the tech and stuff like that. We could, in theory, literally do that. What every other brokerage does is license off the shelf technology, plumb it together into some kind of single sign-on, and call ourselves a real estate tech brokerage and move on. Like, literally, that's the script. And I don't blame it. I don't blame anyone for doing that, because if you are just a real estate brokerage, you don't need to build all of these things for an extra, 5% efficiency, right? So when Real started building things 4 years ago, we had 9 transaction management people, right? And that was around 1,000 people, 1,000 agents or something along those lines, and maybe 300 or 500 active agents, right? Like, kid you not, that was the number. And we used to have, this was pre-building anything, right? We used to have weekly contests and weekly bonuses for closing out 100 files a week, 100 transactions a week. And we would struggle. Like, I still remember Tamir, me, everybody's like going through Excel sheets, addresses and matching out if we paid out people or not. Excel sheets after Excel sheets, and it was becoming unmanageable. And today we're closing thousands per day, not per week, per day. And we have the same amount of people, same 9 people. So, we talk about technology, and people oftentimes ask Real, like, what is your technology? The technology is the scale, right? So the fact that you can open our app, sit on a kayak in the middle of a lake and close out an entire transaction without talking to a single person is the technology, right? Today, if you have a question, you open up our app and you say, hey, I uploaded my check. I literally recently just saw this, and even I'm mind blown, to be honest. I took a screenshot, I sent it to my team saying this is amazing. One of the agents asked, hey, do I need to do anything else? I just uploaded a paycheck. I uploaded the commission check. And Leo responded by saying, Leo is our AI bot that's like basically looking at everything and always injecting in different places, responded saying, with context. So the question was, do I need to do anything else? I just uploaded a commission check. The response was, your $1,800 commission check has been recognized and has been successfully deposited. It typically takes 2 days to clear that check. You don't need to do anything. The money will be sent to you in that specific language, or nearly that language, right? But the best part was that it spelled out $1,800 because the agent did not say $1,800. And this is where like proprietary tech really kicks in. Is like these AI agents and AI language models have access to data that they typically wouldn't have. So they wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff. Even if we wanted to do it, if we just sat on existing technology, we wouldn't be able to do it, right? So talk about like improving agent business or improving efficiency. Yeah, we're not going to build a CRM because there are like, I don't know, 100 CRMs that exist out there. And I literally don't want to be in a CRM war. My CRM better than your CRM. But this is a war that like I don't think anybody can beat us at, because of the fact that we have layered in all this data and all this technology already baked in for 4 years, and now we're building on top of it. So Real Wallet sits on it, or AI bots sit on it, right? So that's kind of how do you see tech improving agent business?
Yeah. So I just I don't know that the traditional brokerage bolt-on, model will survive. I there's so much pressure already on, and you're seeing it. I mean, brokerage is having to shift their models in significant ways. So the person I was talking to this morning that is with a traditional brokerage model, they just increased their splits by 5%, and they're calling it a marketing fee. So they have launched some additional marketing services under the guise of, hey, this is going to benefit your business, but it's not. This person, high level, team leader at this company, it's not. His words, not mine. He said it just feels like a way for them to take more money, and in my opinion, it's because they have to. And so I think what I saw when I looked at Real for the first time, and again, it's one of the reasons that I walked away from a lot to be a part of this, because I looked at 5-10 years down the road and tried to take your vision and Tamir's vision and say, okay, do I want to bet on technology or this traditional bolt-on model? And the answer for me was clear. So how does it benefit the agents? I think and that's we just had a Zoom call with Tamir 30 minutes ago, and his response to why you guys are building what you're building is, number one, does it benefit the agents? Number one, I mean, how does it benefit the agents?
Yeah.
And I love that, because I think companies kind of get lost in or distracted by not asking that question with every single decision that they make, because they're having to ask the questions: how does it benefit our our regional ownership group, or under the traditional franchise model? And it's because we don't have that here. It's okay. No. The agents are driving the business. The agents are the boots on the ground. The agents are the ones that are, serving buyers and sellers, hopefully at a really high level. And so how is this move going to benefit them? And from what I've seen, all of the products that Real is building ultimately will serve the agent at a really high level. Like being able to bank in one place and have automation, and to have a points-based system. The more we use the banking platform that can to use those points to offset the cost associated with running our business at Real. That's so unique, and it benefits. Of course, it benefits the company. But the first question was, does it benefit the agent? And the answer is yes, because it makes it even less expensive to run our businesses here, and it's already a very low cost model.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and it just the efficiencies with transaction management and everything else that Real is building, and having another thing that was brought up this morning, Pritesh, was, and the reason that this guy is looking at leaving his traditional brokerage is because they just switched CRMs, right? They said, hey, we're going to pay for this CRM for all of you, which was a third party CRM, but then they changed course a year later and said, no, we have another relationship. Right. So they went all in with this. And so to your point, by not going down that path and allowing agents to choose who they want to partner with from a CRM, standpoint, Sierra Interactive, Follow Up Boss, whatever it might be. And then you can speak into this, allowing Real agents to connect. I believe you've opened up the API on our technology. So if we wanted to, we could integrate whatever platform we wanted to with Real's tech.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that you bring up an important point. Like, our stance on technology is that, it's funny. It's like, it's not even like our stance. It's like a very normal stance to have. Your data is your data, and we don't want to vendor lock you into anything. So if we can't earn your business, we shouldn't have your business, right? So the way we think about it is like, okay, if you're using our transaction platform, we'll just give you the API. Do what you want with it, right? We'll protect your data, but it's available on the API. The point is that you should have the freedom to do something with your data. If you want to import it into your CRM or connect your CRM to our systems, you should be able to do it. And the traditional mindset around this is like, hey, the idea is to not share the data so that you will feel locked into the system, which makes it much harder to move. I'm not very convinced if that's like the right way to treat your partners or your customers, right? Like, I think
it's not.
People are not stupid. They might feel a temporary, restriction or imprisonment, but that's always temporary. The sentiment doesn't go away, right? So that's one. And the general other idea is that, it's agent first, right? And if we can make agents more money, or we can save them money, it's probably a good idea. And I say money as like in many ways interchangeable sometimes with time. Depends on what you have more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, I messaged you this a couple days ago, and I'll just say it here again as we kind of wrap. I don't know what it takes to build something like this, and that's why I said thank you for that reason, Pritesh, because I know that you and your team, probably as much as you, that are out there building this thing, listening to the feedback coming from the field, and it doesn't go unnoticed, and I cannot. I'm impatient, so I can't wait for Q2 and for everything that's launching. I know it's a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and then all the other stuff that you guys are working on behind the scenes, which is probably another episode in and of itself. That is just going to continue to drive efficiency, make us very, very unique. Like we're very unique in this space.
Yeah.
And that is a good thing. And it's just a testament to, Tamir and his vision, and you and your team, and just thank you.
Yeah, no, I absolutely appreciate the comment. I will say that, like, I can't wait for Q2 either. For many years, we couldn't wait for the launching all the things that we were building. Like, 2021 was about, okay, let's just build something that can scale. 2022 was, okay, we got to replace all these transaction platforms. 2023 was like, okay, let's start thinking about the future. 24 was like launching a few of the things that we discussed that we would launch. 25 is, focusing on AI, on wallet, and our consumer vision, which we haven't forgotten yet. So I think there's a lot to do, because at least these things, these industries don't move that easily. When our CFO or Tamir says, like, do you need more money to go faster? The answer is typically no, because it's like, it's not a function of money anymore. Like, it just, some things just need some time, and we're going the fastest we can.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's a wrap, guys.
Yeah.
Another powerful episode of Perspectives unlocked in the books. Clayton Gits reminded us what's possible when agents have the right tools, and Pritesh showed us that the future of real estate isn't just digital. It's personalized, automated, and owned by the people doing the work. Real Wallet is more than a payout tool. It's a step toward financial empowerment, built for agents by a platform that actually listens. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Leo, and I'll catch you next time, right here, where the next perspective is always unlocked.